Welcome to the Totally Awesome Show. I'm your host, Aaron, and this is my beautiful co host, Candace. And we are joined with a special guest here. I mean, they're all special, but this one's special with a plus sign. We got Mick Mellamphy here.
Hey, how you doing?
How you doing, buddy?
I'm good, man. I'm good.
Good.
I feel very, very special.
That's good. You should
And
always
Good.
feel special.
Always.
I'm very special, but for different reasons. You know, people tell me, but yeah, no. How are things? How have things been going? Besides, big shout out to Ireland today.
Hmm.
Putting a
things are
walloping
going-
on England.
Today is the best day ever, man.
Oh,
Ireland. We just beat England in rugby. The
Amazing.
World Cup is coming up, and
Mhm.
very often we're labeled as somewhat favorites. This year, the label is on there, and I don't know. We just see
hey
it's
man, you
It's
never
looking
know.
good.
the label of being favorites is something that doesn't really sit well with us, but we'll see how it goes. But
That's right. That's right.
we
I
do- we
feel
punch- we punch it
Ireland.
the way.
Yeah, Ireland gets its power from being the underdog. I feel like at all times. I mean, you guys
We
you
really-
guys don't like being the it guys. You like being the
Well, we've
Yeah.
never really been given the opportunity to be the it guys. We've never been,
Right.
we've never really been had the chance to be
Right.
the talk of the town. So anytime we get any opportunity to kind of shine, and we certainly shine on the rugby front, and the
Mhm.
sporting scene, and we
Yep.
really shine in the arts and the culture scene as well. So we're very proud of all that.
Oh yeah, for
And
sure.
it was also something I know we're going to talk about Red Dead Redemption quite a bit.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
Just having the opportunity to even showcase an Irish character in something like Red Dead was an absolute honor and privilege. So,
Mm-hmm.
any chance we get to kind of talk about ourselves.
Right. Strut your stuff. You got to strut your stuff,
exactly.
man.
Oh, we're gonna do that for sure.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. I guess we can start at the beginning with that then. When did the bug bite you for acting? When did you get into the
Wow,
arts?
you're really going all
Going
the way
way back, man.
Way back.
back.
Get in the DeLorean, put in the 1.21 gigawatts. Let's go, man.
I tell you, I was probably around the same time that Michael J. Fox was about 4 years of age.
Yeah.
That's how
Yeah.
old I am.
Right.
Yeah, I was very fortunate. I went to school in Ireland, and I went to this one particular school that didn't quite work for me, and my mum took me out of it
Mhm.
and brought me to this other school in my hometown in Cork, in Ballincollig, called Skullbarra, and it was a boys and girls school, and they were all into theatre, they were all into sports and everything else, and they had a stage in the hall of the school, and they would put on plays and everything, and I just auditioned for the first play that I could and got cast in it, and I got to go on stage and perform and be someone else, and that was kind of always that was like the basis of my career, was the idea that you could actually take on somebody else's psyche and everything else and perform and learn through that. That became a really, really big thing in my life, and it stayed with me ever since.
Yeah.
It was actually a musical about the life and work of Martin Luther King Jr. And so I
That's
was,
amazing.
I was a young kid in Ireland getting to learn about this amazing person in America who was working for civil rights, and
Mhm.
that was my first lesson in theater.
Nice.
That's
Very cool.
awesome. That
Yeah.
is such a great jump into that as well, especially since like that's what gets you started. You're
Yeah.
learning and then you're taking on a new persona. So that's wonderful.
It's always stayed with me,
Mhm.
Yeah, very cool. And you're still heavily into theater. I know that. You
I
still are
am,
very
I am.
involved and
I'm not good looking enough to be in television.
hey
so
man.
that's the
Hey.
thing.
That's what I say. I don't like being recorded. I like, I love, goofing off and being a big persona, but I don't want to see the playback. That's
Yeah.
kind of my thing. But
I mean, obviously,
Amen.
we all want to just work as much as we can, but I
Right.
do love theater. Theater is my first love. That's
Mhm.
the basis of all the work that I've ever done,
Mhm.
and I really enjoy it.
Right.
So I'm very lucky. I live here in New York, and
Right.
we have, we've got some wonderful kind of communities here that
Mhm.
are really into theater. So that's kind of where I base a lot of my work.
Right.
That's
Awesome. Yeah.
Yeah, because we actually want to get out to New York, and we've been to New York once and we didn't get to do any theater, any plays, anything. And so now we're like, well, that's like a big thing about New York. So I'm like, we need to go out there and really experience that scene, line some things up. So we'll have
Yeah,
to get some
you
pointers from
should
you.
come check it out and hang out. The one thing I'll say is, I constantly go back to the work that you guys are doing here with your podcast.
Mhm.
The one really amazing thing that I love about Red Dead Redemption 2, like the
Mhm.
whole community,
Yes.
you're so bloody creative. You're all involved, whether it's some sort of art, whether it's podcasting, whether it's
Mhm.
writing blogs. Like the community is so bloody
See?
creative and fucking wonderful.
Mhm.
And it's become a little bit of a lightning rod for me in my work. Like I want to try to keep encouraging
Mhm.
fans of the game, fans of Red Dead, gaming fans in general, because they are a creative bunch as a whole, to look at theater as a means to kind of getting involved in the video game world, and also just expressing yourselves in some sort of artistic way. Like theater is a wonderful way to express that,
Mm-hmm.
and you can make a living at it. You can,
Mhm.
be involved in communities, and it's something that I just think it's really important to kind of continue to put.
It is because that's where a lot of people get their start too, is in theater. You get that experience, you keep on, working through that. And I think more attention needs to be drawn to the local scenes because like I love the aspect of like acting and actors and actresses and the processes that they have to go through. But the thing is, it's like bringing awareness to what's locally going on. That way you can, expand your output further into the world and getting to know others in that community as well. I think that's very important. And I feel like there's not a lot of resources for that. So it's great that you're drawing awareness to it.
Yeah, there isn't. I mean, we don't, certainly in the world of theater, like in terms of funding, we're not funded the same way television is, and
Yep.
certainly
Yeah.
video games. But anyway, we can kind of join the dots. That's what's important. And that's something moving forward,
Mhm.
having the opportunity to meet you guys at Tombstone Redemption and go to other conventions and meet artists who, they may be the next great playwrights. They might be writing the next great American play for Broadway. Who knows? You know what I mean?
Right.
But
Yep.
any chance that you have to kind of get in there at the ground level, that
Mhm.
this could be it.
Right. And that's one thing I love about the con scene, especially like,
Mhm.
in the nerd community as a greater whole, but kind of any community like that. People say, who do you think is the greatest, guitar player or the greatest artist? You won't know that ever because there might be a kid that is the best artist on the planet, but he just hasn't either had the resources or the self-confidence to get out there. And
Exactly.
these kind of things give people, you can, rent a table at a Comic-Con or even pass your stuff around or have, some of your favorite voice actors sign an original print and they go, okay, that's probably the coolest art I've ever seen about, this video game or animated show or whatever, and kind of give them that confidence boost because there's so many, the cosplayers. A lot of them are theater kids that do costume design and kind of take that into their own thing. Like, hey, I'm going to dress up as this giant, foam robot, and it looks cooler than some stuff Hollywood's coming out with. So you never know,
Mhm.
what avenue. Just people need encouragement because there are so many creative people out there that
Well, the
just
word
kind of.
the word you use there in a big way is encouragement,
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
and we all need that.
Yep.
And believe me,
Mhm.
before I landed the part of Sean McGuire, and I was very fortunate and very privileged to get that part, I was not in any way like nobody nobody knows who the fuck I am. I'm just another actor like anyone else. Like,
Right.
and I happened to be fortunate to play Sean McGuire. Anybody could have gotten cast in that role, and it's the same. Like we need to keep on supporting artists. And the one thing I'll say about playing Sean in Red Dead, it's been such a great gift for me, is like I've met so many creative people through all this, and it's been just a fucking wonderful journey.
Yeah.
And we need to, and I mean that, like we need to support, like we need to support people, give them
Mhm.
a platform,
Yep.
and that's kind of what we're all about.
Yeah, totally. And I've found that, we've had a lot of conversations about this, about like the streaming thing or doing YouTube stuff. It's such a grind, and that's kind of the thing. You always want to bring the quality, but I find it's just as much about the quantity and I guess staying consistent. You can't give up. You can't let it lull, even if you don't get the big break you're looking for, or this thing isn't as, people don't enjoy it as much as you do personally. Just keep going, because you never know when that one thing hits, and then
Yeah,
you're doing what you want to do.
just keep putting it out there. Put your
Yep.
stuff out into the universe and see
Right.
where it goes.
Exactly.
That's kind of, that is the method.
Right.
It's
Right.
hard, it's difficult,
Mm-hmm.
but that's just the way. That's just the life of actors. That's the life of artists. That's what you have to keep on doing.
Right.
Put it
Absolutely.
out there, pump it out there, and that's it.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
And I know that a lot of you actually had experience in theater. Like that's where a lot of you got your, start. So
Mhm.
working together, with other individuals with like similar backgrounds of that origin story. I know some of the scenes, from what I've heard, from what a little bit I've seen, is that you have to do like one continuous take of like this very long scene. So you have a lot of different moving parts and different actors, and everybody has to stay on point. So did theater, like, I assume theater helped you all with that, and having that background and bringing that to the Red Dead universe, that we as fans can enjoy it.
It's definitely helpful to be able to learn your script a night beforehand. Obviously the whole cast is entirely, they're all brilliant, and they're all really, really great actors, very professional. It was a hard part of the process, is that you would get your script within 24 hours or so beforehand, because the company behind it, Rockstar and all, they were very secretive about what the scenes are. Nobody wanted to let the cat out of the bag.
Right. Yeah.
Filmed and shot. But yeah, as far as actors are concerned, like, I think they did an absolutely amazing job. And I got this gig through my commercial agent. A commercial agent is someone who normally gets you involved with advertisements and commercials. And generally speaking, that's the route to go, where an actor can learn stuff on the fly. They can learn stuff really, really quickly. And it kind of made sense to me then, when I kind of got into it a bit more. I would be given a script that could be a page long, or it could be 10 pages long, it could be 4 or 5 songs, whatever. And you would have to be off book for the next day. Again, that's why it's much more closely related to theater than television. In television, you can stick the script in your back pocket, pull it out, have a look, give the lines any way you want.
Right.
And generally, because television is shooting really quick, they take the best cut and they take the best bit of improvisation. With this, they wanted you off book, and they wanted you to be as true to what they wrote as possible. So it was a cool experience, and as an actor, I loved it. I'm an actor at my heart, and when I have a script to learn and learn the lines and walk around the room until they're perfect, that makes me really happy. So this experience with Red Dead was wonderful, because I got to do that a lot.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's awesome. It's very cool.
Yeah.
And
I'm very lucky, by the way.
I was gonna say, that must be like, you just feel like you won the lottery. It's like you're a part of this huge project, this huge universe at this point. You've come into contact with all of these people, not just the cast, but also the fans. But what, when it comes to the story, like, what's some of your favorite moments or like chapters, like with Sean, without Sean? What's your favorite?
Oh, well, my favorite story is the very first day I got to shoot on set. I walked in and Roger was sitting in his little skinny suit with the dots on it. I'm like, what's the story? Because I'd auditioned Roger for a play about 5 years before.
Oh, wow.
He couldn't do it because he had this sort of gig that he just couldn't tell me about.
Yeah.
And Roger also used to work down the street at a restaurant from my bar that I used to work at. And we'd been involved in stuff together. And there was a few more actors in Red Dead that we'd all kind of crossed each other's paths. So
Right.
that was a wonderful kind of a feeling, knowing that you're with people that you love and that you've worked with before and kind of, had a good time with. I mean, I loved every single minute of working on this game. It was, for me, it was about 3.5 years. It was a great process. I love Karen Jones scenes. I mean, the scenes with Karen is.
You and Joe were phenomenal.
Yeah.
Well, Joe is one of the, I mean, everyone is wonderful, but Joe is like one of the funniest and most hilarious fucking people I know.
Yeah.
And
She
like
is.
all the dialogue that you hear in the tent,
Hmm.
she got to record her lines before me.
Hmm.
So
Oh,
when I went to do the audio, I
Yeah.
was listening to what she had already done. So basically, when you see those scenes in the tent with Sean,
Hmm.
it's basically me just reacting to fucking her
right.
hilarious shit.
That's hilarious.
Oh
Because
my
I wondered
God,
how.
what are y'all doing, man?
Yeah.
Oh wow, what is that? And I'm
Yeah.
like, okay,
Yeah.
so here we go.
No, I
Yeah.
love that because I was like, how did they do this? Like, did they just stand next to each other? Like, if you take away the tent, is there things going on behind the scenes? I was just like, I didn't know how they recorded it, so that's super interesting. And
Yeah.
yeah,
We
going off of
did
that.
we did a little bit of like one-on-one, like just camera
Mhm.
work. And
Right.
again, because you've got cameras, you can't get close to people. That's the thing about
No.
Right. You
Mhm.
can't
vocap.
block. Yeah. Don't block my
Actually,
shot. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
And Joe is wonderful and brilliant and all, but we couldn't get that close
Right.
because
Mhm.
we were
Yeah.
shooting it. But in terms of in the booth, then when we had to actually film it or get the audio, it was fun. It was interesting, and for me, it was a privilege because I just got to work with all her brilliant work.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
awesome.
Yeah.
Well, I'm actually talking with Joe right now. We're trying to figure out a time, so we'll see if her story.
Brilliant.
We'll see if her story is as nice. We'll see what she says. If it was really that. No,
Like he's
I'm.
the biggest
Yeah, he's like, I
asshole of
really don't.
all
Mick.
time.
Everybody was cool except Mick. I don't know. Is
Yeah.
They
if
stuck me with
iffy
this
man.
guy.
Yeah,
That guy
iffy.
with the funny Australian accent.
Right. Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. The funny foreign kid. I don't know. But,
That funny weird guy.
yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome. That talking about Sean, it's I don't want to use the term short-lived, but spoiler alert, but you're not in it for like the entire game, but just the
I
reaction to
know.
how
Fucking sucks, bro.
I know,
Yeah.
man. I know. Hey, there's always prequels. There's always spin-offs. You never know. I mean,
Yeah.
there might be a Sean McGuire simulator. There might be an Ireland simulator. Like
There's an
him
Irish
coming over.
fucking Irish bias there.
Right. Yeah, it might be, man.
I was
It
so
might be.
disappointed.
But,
I was actually quite
yeah.
shocked because I was like, this kid, I was like, yeah, he's just young and he's,
Right.
he wants to impress the older guys and really get in there.
Right.
And I was just like, oh no, I was like, he's
Right.
not coming back from that one.
Yeah.
So
It really, but actually, it's really amazing how the writing of the game, it takes all the gamers and all the players on this emotional little
it
journey.
is.
It's funny. Of course, you guys were in Tombstone a few weeks ago.
Yep.
Yes.
Yep.
Yep.
Ben, who plays Dutch,
Yeah.
Ben
Yep.
Benjamin Byron Davis plays Dutch. He started speaking about the gang and everything. I mean, I'd often thought about it, but he spoke about how he felt that the Van der Linde gang would eventually be run by Lenny and Sean,
Right.
Yeah.
or things
Right.
like that.
Yep.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Like the beauty of the drama of the story is how Arthur has this struggle between good
Right.
and bad and everything else.
Right.
And I'd never really kind of thought about how Lenny, yes,
Yeah.
Sean, I never kind of thought would be a leader of the gang.
Right.
But in the making of the game, I remember working on a lot of scenes with Harren Atkins, who was the actor who played Lenny.
Yep.
Yeah.
And we just hang out together during lunch break and stuff, and have a nice little time together and have a chat about the game. And
Right.
it's a testament to the writing in the game. The game is they know what they're doing.
Right.
They
Oh,
do.
absolutely. And that's, there are a lot of good story games out there, but I feel, even I kind of watched Candace play through the story mode a little bit, her first run through, and the writing is pretty special. I mean, I was expecting, okay, cool, you can catch me up to speed. I'll check it out. I'm sure we'll play. And then, a couple hours in, I'm like, I am riveted by each one of these characters. Every character, you're rooting for them.
You're pulling for the characters.
Yeah.
And I think I've often said about Sean that I think Sean is really important in Red Dead because
He is.
his death is something that really drags the audience in.
Yes.
It grabs them and says, hang on,
Right.
we're not messing around here.
Nobody's safe.
Right.
No one is
Right.
safe.
No one's safe.
You've just spent hours rescuing this guy. You've gone on missions with this guy.
Yep.
And I do believe this, Sean makes everything lighter and fun, and
Absolutely.
we're having a great time. This is fun. And now you're gonna fucking kill him. Like, what the hell? And it
Right.
really is. It's a moment. It's it's a very
Right.
theatrical and heavy moment.
That really is the beginning of the end. You can start to tell, like, okay, decisions are not being made properly. I
No.
mean, they're, Dutch is starting to kind of lose it and
Yeah.
not pulling the right moves here.
I
So
think
And I
it's the first moment where Arthur kind of
yeah,
questions,
right.
like,
really
Yeah.
questions
oh,
because
yeah.
he has a lot in common with Sean. He's like, Sean's a younger version of myself. And, I always viewed him as a younger brother. And, when you're going through the journal and he has those inner monologue moments and just even like visiting the grave, it's like, it's a heavy moment. It's a big deal. So having him not a part of the gang anymore, and like I feel like his death was also part of Karen's, spiral as
Yeah.
well.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So she's like, well, I thought I had a future and I thought we were going somewhere, but obviously, like, what are we doing here? So it's just, and also with his representation too, I thought that was brilliant that they made him Irish, because I think that's very important to have that representation, because you have cowboy games and whatnot, but like we come from an old lumber town where there was a lot of Irish immigrants who came in to be lumbermen. So the fact that that's now pulling into that time period, I'm like, this is great. Like Sean's a wonderful character. So
Well, I mean, we do have a great history here in this country.
Mm-hmm.
absolutely.
There is a lot of Irish people who come
Mhm.
through and been
Right.
part of the growth of America and
Right.
been around for a long time. So it's our history is as integral to the growth of America as anyone else's.
Absolutely.
Right.
So for that to be represented in a way in
Right.
Red Dead
Mhm.
Redemption like that was kind of
Right.
awesome,
And that I think is really cool, because that is definitely a game, even though it's a very, in America's history, it's a very, specific time where things weren't great for a lot of people,
Mhm.
but there were a
They're
lot of
still
people.
not.
Right. I mean, yeah, it's
Yeah.
things aren't a whole lot better, but basically so many people can see themselves in that original melting pot. That's the beginning,
Mhm.
when the dream was, let's get everybody over here and kind
Yeah.
of create something new. And it's cool to have that, where there's so many different cool characters and such well-written characters. There's something for really everybody. And obviously, I mean, the turnout we saw at Tombstone, so many people resonate.
Yeah.
It was insane, and it's got to feel good too. I mean, a lot of it is the writing, but obviously your performance takes it to that next level. I mean, it's got to feel good that even though there's a character who had a very short-lived future, um, the love that everybody has, and people can relate that quickly because of those, the good writing and your awesome performance. It's got to feel good. Like, hey man, people really love Sean, and he was there for about a half a game, really, if you think about it. I mean,
Yeah, the poor fucker. He got his whole head blown off it too
right.
soon. Look, at the end of the day, I mean, dramatically, it worked.
It did. It was
He's
realistic.
Right.
but he's also the right character for it to happen to as well, which
Mhm.
Yeah. Yeah.
unfortunately. But it was they've been very good. They've been very good about they were really good about making sure that the actor who played Sean was as close as possible
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
to that type
Yeah.
of character. And
Right.
one issue I have with a lot of, I wouldn't say video games, because I love video games, but I'm not a huge gamer.
Right.
Mhm.
One issue I do have is misrepresentation in
Mhm.
television and stuff. And
Mhm.
Yes.
I
Right.
think Rockstar did a great job as far as Sean's concerned, representing Irish
Right.
people.
Exactly. Yeah.
Usually you see stereotypes and you get the old Lucky Charm stuff.
Right. Yeah. We
So,
joked about that a little bit, I think, on Saturday. See, you don't want to go full this way, lad. That's kind of insulting.
I got my rainbows and
Yeah.
my
Right. Yeah. Exactly. Purple horseshoes. Then we're out of the
And
conversation.
it's like, no.
Yeah. No. No. That.
but that's really important, because the
Mhm.
wonder thing is I work in theater a lot, and theater in general is the audiences are generally older.
Mhm.
And the two areas of my life have been theater and Red Dead Redemption in terms of being an actor.
Mhm.
And on one hand, you've got a very young, mobile, like with it crowd who know what's going on with social media.
Right.
They're into everything else. They're into promoting stuff. They're great. And on the other hand, you have theater where, again, it's a wonderful audience, but it's getting older, and
Mhm.
it's hard. It's hard to encourage more and more people to kind of come back to theater.
Right.
And in a way, I'm very blessed, because I think there is a way to marry the gaming community and showcase
Yep.
that theater is a way to express your creative, your
Absolutely.
expressions.
Definitely.
I've got so many people came to me in Tombstone and last year in Dublin, bringing pieces of art, talking
that's
about
cool.
podcasts. You guys doing this? I know, Candace, you've got a blog as well, and I know.
I was gonna say I'm working on the Tombstone article, and that is next Wednesday is the deadline for me for my editors to take care of everything, and then the next Monday it's gonna be live. So I'm super excited because it was a passion piece for me to write. So I'm just waiting on a few more. Hopefully I hear back from a few more of you guys, and then I'll have like the complete cast. But I'm super excited to get it out there because it is a passion piece.
What you're all doing is the work that famous playwrights have done for hundreds of years.
Right.
So if we can kind of encourage more and more people to realize, like, theater, art, everything that you're doing to express your creative self can lead to video games, can lead to these other things. Like, join the dots there. That's kind of what that's where I want to go with all this.
Right. Well, I think that's kind of the nice thing about, our generation. Candace and I are both 80s kids, and I think a lot of us, and even younger millennials, they are wanting to do those kind of old timey feeling things. We love going to like jazz shows and kind of the fun fuddy duddy stuff, I guess would be considered back when we were younger. But you really start to see the value. Like, hey, you know what? Going to a live, just a little live music show at a local pub, or going to a play is pretty amazing. It's a fun experience. There's so much cool. And again, like you said, there's so many creative people that they go there and like, man, this really inspired me to like go create something. Like, I want to kind of get into this somehow or something. So,
absolutely. Well, the one thing as well in terms of creativity is I've said this from day one, I've been very fortunate to work on this game and, play Sean, but it is so theatrical. Like, the experience in theater is so similar to the experience in making a video game. You are involved, the audience is involved, like, you're all so like connected to the game.
Right.
It's the same as sitting in an audience and watching a play and seeing somebody on stage live in front of you performing. Like, you are part of it. So, that's my little
that's
what I'm into.
You go on that emotional journey together, so we got the actors, we got the players, we got the characters taking on this grand story, and it's like, man, Red Dead was a heck of a ride, that's for sure. Like, the ups and downs and just all over.
and it's not passive. It's not like you're sitting there just watching it on the TV screen. You're involved, like, you're playing with the
making these choices.
Right.
But in theater, it's kind of the same. In theater, when you sit in an audience and there's something happening in front of you, like, you might not be making the choices, but you're actually experiencing this in real time with another human being in the room. And there's something really satisfying about that I have never gotten from film and television. Even though I love film and television as an art form and a medium, it's not the same as theater or video gaming.
Right.
So,
right. Yeah, that interactivity.
Trying to get all the kids out to watch theater. Come on.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's like, come on, let's go.
And that's the
original video game without colors,
Right.
Exactly.
Right. And it's funny you mentioned that too, like about the social media and everything too. That has become such a way to get, just everything out there more than we've ever been able to, but especially art forms. I forgot who I was talking to the other day, but whether it be actors or business owners, you're kind of your own agent at this point. You obviously you have to have an agent to take care of the particulars and everything, but you're your own hype man. You are nowadays, there have been, actors in Marvel movies that got the part by harassing the company. Like, hey, I'm here, I'm ready. It can be done. And if you have a project you're really proud of and want to get out there, now more than ever, you can get it out there. If you're somewhat savvy with it, you can start a whole snowball and get the word out.
Keep it up. Just keep up the work. Keep up the podcasts. Keep up the blogs. Keep putting your stuff out there.
Yep.
Just, throw caution to the wind.
Oh yeah. Yep. And it's fun. That a lot of things you just have to kind of, it's kind of cliche, but the old adage, I do this for free. You kind of have to have that mentality for a while. Just do it for fun. Do it because it's what you want to do and what you enjoy, and who knows, man.
A lot of that. There's a lot of that.
For sure.
For sure.
You know me, guys. I like.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Absolutely.
Here you go, Amelia. This is our clacker here for you. So she can splice it together. So,
yeah.
I do want to say while we're recording too, she was over the moon that you joined her stream the other night. She was
She was
loving it.
so cool. She did such a great
Oh,
job.
she's awesome, man.
Awesome,
She's
yeah.
no, she. I think she kind of gets nervous every once in a while, but when she gets on camera, she does a killer job. So
She
it
was
was a
great.
lot of fun.
She was
I
having
love
fun.
what I actually I really enjoy watching
Mhm.
people playing on Twitch. It's
Yes.
nice. It's cool.
Oh, it's so cool.
It's fun.
Yeah, we'll have to. I wanted to talk about that a little bit earlier, but we can kind
I
of go
think
back
you
to.
actually did. I think I went online last night. Did I?
Yeah.
Yes,
Ted?
yeah, we
Yeah, we
popped
were.
in.
Yeah, we were
we
on
were in
message.
there.
Oh, hey man.
I'm terrible. I'm not good at the game.
No,
I'm
it doesn't
Well,
matter. It
well,
doesn't
where you
matter.
I'm
started, I was
walking
like,
around like, where's
Yeah.
the pub?
Right. That's me when I play pretty much online. Yeah,
well,
like
I was
hey,
like trying to figure out what chapter you were in, and then you like did the
I
story
know.
mission. I'm like, did he do this on purpose? I was like,
No,
oh
I
my god,
think the last time I played it was right at
oh
Rhodes.
no,
yeah. So it's
Yeah.
And
been
now
yeah.
whenever I go back there, that's where I restart from. So, if anybody tunes in, they're like, this is kind of weird.
no, I was like,
Nah.
oh, I was like, this is morbid. I was like, but okay, I was like, yeah, he's
Hey,
gonna get
man.
through it. I was like, does he just have one save that he just keeps going back to?
Right. Yeah.
When I realized that was happening to Sean, I was very down about it. I was like,
Yeah.
But
Like, come on.
then the next time we shot the scene and we did it all and everything else, whatever, grand. Because it's not done in sequence. So
yeah,
it was actually quite early on in the process for me where we shot all that stuff.
Right.
But then the next time we went back, again, the people who work on the game are fucking brilliant. Like the animators, the people who work on sound, they're just the best people in the world. And a bunch of the guys who were animating it came to me and they're like, Mick, I know it sucks that Sean died, but we gave him a good death.
Yep.
It's
Nice.
pretty epic.
Yeah.
It's pretty
Wait
epic.
until you see it. And of course, I had to wait years to see it.
Years to
Yep.
see the final product.
But they did. They gave him a good send off.
Oh yeah.
They
That's
did.
awesome.
They did.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, but Tombstone, man,
Tombstone. What did you guys?
that was special, man.
When you were first approached for this, what did you originally think? And then, like, as time went on, were you like, oh, there's only going to be like maybe a few thousand? And then once you got there, what was the realization?
So I'm going to be completely honest with you. When I first heard about Tombstone, I noticed that it was a number of the main characters, as always, were invited.
Yeah.
I reached out. I was like,
Oh.
my name's Mick. I play Sean McGuire. And I don't want to sound bad about this because I love everybody in the game. I love all the characters. I love it. But I'm like, Sean doesn't get invited to a lot of things. So I just stuck my head out and I was like, any chance? And they got back to me right away and they were like, yes, absolutely. We'd love to have you out there, which was really, really nice. And, I'd already known that a lot of the rest of the cast were already going. So I was very excited about the whole thing. And that's how it happened for me. I reached out, I don't know if I hadn't reached out that they may not have asked me.
Right.
And one thing I will say is I really do. I really love the fans of the game. I love all the supporters. I love meeting the fans of the game. And that's kind of the reason I wanted to kind of get out there, And I hadn't an idea what it was going to be like.
I don't think any of us did. We didn't either. I mean, we had talked to Kenny, shout out to Kenny Palco for making that whole thing.
Kenny,
I don't know how not many people could pull that off. That was insane. But we kind of had the same thing. We were very hopeful, but you have to stay realistic. A first time event, it's a far away place, in southern Arizona. You don't really know how many people are going to be able to make that trip. Everybody wants to go, but who can actually make it and how it's going to go down. It's not a normal, Comic-Con type setup. So Candace and I were, we talked with them. Ken's wife Melissa is from our hometown. We might have told you while we were there. She's from our hometown, Bay City. Yeah. So we were kind of joking about that. Got talking. Candace told him that she's going to be doing an article about the whole thing for her website. So, we kind of went in there. We were very hopeful. We didn't know. I was like, hey, it'd be cool if like a couple thousand people show up. And then the reports are it was almost 10,000 for that weekend. Yeah. Like that,
it was unbelievable, and just meeting people who were waiting outside all day.
Oh my gosh!
I remember I actually got there really early on Saturday morning. I arrived at like about 9 o'clock in the morning just to set up, but also just take a walk around and just seeing people up down the street.
Yeah.
And the lovely thing about something like this as well is, I could also walk around I
Right.
don't know who the fuck I was. They're
Right.
just weird looking older.
Well,
fella.
you'd be surprised. You'd be surprised. With the internet, people know. People know.
But it was nice to be able to
But
walk
yeah,
around and meet
right.
people and have a chat with them and
Right.
how's it going. But to see like the local businesses doing well out of it and all,
Mhm.
that's kind of what really kind of made it for me, you know.
Well, I wanna play Arizona Tourism Board here for a minute because Candace and I went out. You know, we knew it was going to be a big thing. Ken had asked us if we could help. We've known Jeff Zanini for a year or
Mhm.
two now, so we knew we're friends with some of the other handlers that they have, and we've helped out. We helped out at our last con, so we knew the thing. So we were going to help out anyway. But we're like, if this does get crazy, we want a day or two to be able to enjoy Tombstone because we've never,
Mhm.
never been out there. Especially it's probably the furthest since we've been married in 16 years. It's probably the furthest in the States we've been together. So we went, got there Thursday, drove down, did a couple things, got set up, and then all Friday was tourism. So we checked the whole town. We did the Wild West shootout thing, the Wyatt Earp shootout thing. We did the horse carriage tour. We went the silver mine. So if anyone ever wants to just visit Tombstone just because,
It's fun.
there's plenty to do. You could easily make a long weekend.
It's an
out of it.
all-day thing.
It's
Yeah.
such a cool town.
Just the tombstone, just the
Yeah.
history of the tombstone itself.
Yeah.
But I know that I feel like a lot of the Red Dead fans were keeping everything very close to the chest because everybody was super excited about the event, but also we didn't want to scream it from the rooftops yet because it was the first event of its type. If you get too many people, that can also be
Right.
catastrophic for it. So it's like we're all kind of like, okay, we're excited, and I knew that there were
Right.
some key players in like the Red Dead community, like online, that were going. So I was like DMing these people, like, "Hey, are you gonna be there? Like, I've never met you before."
I know. Now, actually, that's something that I really love is how we all kind of come together,
Mhm.
and it's like, oh, you're my buddy from
Right.
over here. You're my
Right.
friend from over here. It's like it's kind of cool, yeah.
Very
Yeah,
cool.
we actually got to meet one of our good friends that we've been hanging out online quite a bit for the last 3 years, Luis, who he ended up being Gabriel's handler. Jeff Summers, like, because he actually had been at a con with Jeff in Salt Lake and did a panel with Nolan North,
Mhm.
who's a buddy of all of ours. And Jeff right away put him to work. So we're like, hey, you know what? I want to see you. This is the first time we've been able to hang out, but we'll drink later. Do your thing. So him and Gabriel, they were having a mariachi band with that one kid, at the end, and they're like, hey,
I
he's living
love
his best
that.
life. So it was amazing, man. Like just
It was
instant,
phenomenal.
No, I have to say, like, just an event like this was really kind of cool. It was really important.
Mhm.
The one thing that I love about these kind of events is seeing families coming together. Like the amount of people who come through the door, and you saw it
Mhm.
because I know Candace, you were with
I was at the front door with Rob.
right? Yeah.
Yep.
and Aaron, you were with Curzon.
Yep.
You were right next to me.
Yep.
And the one thing I love is seeing all the fans coming through, meeting us, having fun together. But they're also bringing their families. They're bringing their brothers and sisters. They're bringing
Mhm.
their parents.
Right.
And it just makes it more about the community. And
Exactly.
that's something that I fucking love. I
Oh,
think,
it's
like I said, I got there at 9 o'clock on Saturday. I think I was still signing and meeting
Mhm.
people at 10 o'clock that night.
Yep.
And it's
Yeah.
purely because I want to meet you. I
Yeah.
want to fucking
Right.
Yeah.
like Jesus, lads. This is cool. Like we're getting to.
Right.
I actually do feel that idea of. I feel like you're playing the game and you're interested. I'm getting to meet you. It's
Right.
a fucking honor for me. This is brilliant. Like
Right.
so, we were. I was really appreciative of like just the amount of people who
Mhm.
showed up. Actually, after the first night, we all got on our little trolley to go back to. They kept us at this little dude ranch.
Right. Yeah. Yep.
I saw some of the video.
Yep.
And
Yep.
it was.
That's so
fucking
cool.
mad.
That's so cool, man.
But we had like there was a guy like Cliff was waiting for us at the bar.
Mhm.
Like arms open, like guys, welcome back, and kept the bar open for us.
Oh man,
That's
that's
awesome.
That's so
You're
cool.
like, okay.
We got to have a cookout like we were actually in the game.
Right. Right.
The other thing as well for me is like I love all the actors in this game. I love them all. They're all my brothers and sisters. But when we were working on the game, for me anyway, in New York, it was in and out.
Mm-hmm.
I wasn't being brought in from California or anywhere. We were shooting in New York, so it was like it's a day.
Right.
Mhm.
Here you go out, you work, and then you come home,
Right.
and that's it. we didn't have these days where I got to kind of hang out with a lot of the rest of the cast. So like when we all got together in Tucson at the airport,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm seeing Gabrielle and I'm seeing Ben and I'm seeing Steve and I'm seeing Alex for the first time in years. And Kylie lives around the corner from me here in New York. So I
Mhm.
see Kylie quite a week, go for coffee quite a bit.
That's awesome.
With a
Awesome.
friend. And we, you know, just seeing people for the first time and getting to hang out with it was just fun. It was just lovely.
Right. Right.
And it was amazing because like you all were immediate family. Like you worked on this big project, haven't seen each other in forever. You're getting back together. It's like this family reunion. And then it's like you're welcoming all of these fans and you're making all the fans feel like family as well. Because I actually make a comparison in my article about, you know, the Oriental Saloon was like the perfect location for this because it was so small and we were all on top of each other and it was very intimate, but it felt like you were walking into camp. So like you're hearing everybody's voices and you know the fans are like, oh my gosh, and the likeness between you and your characters, and it's kind of like this weird in between, like, oh, like how do I process this because I'm meeting the actor, the person behind this character, but also it's like they are, you know, part of the character as well. So it was just a very interesting experience.
That's a really great perspective, and I don't know. I mean, maybe the rest of the actors do. I don't know if I've ever seen it from that perspective in terms of like people are looking at you as the character as opposed to the actor who plays it, you know.
Right.
But the one thing I will say is that you're absolutely right. We are a family, and the Van der Linde gang is a family, you know, and we've got our issues and problems, and you see it in the game.
Right.
But I do think, you know, it's something that I've been very proud of is like Outlaws for Life is real. Like we feel the same way about the fans of the game. Like Jesus, Tombstone was fucking great. Like just to see people coming from everywhere and hanging out and
Yeah.
I actually went through the curtain on Sunday night and I got talking to a lovely lady and her husband who traveled there with their son. And their son had unfortunately developed a life-threatening illness for 3 years. And through Red Dead Redemption 2, he figured out some creativity and everything else, and he's big into history and all the rest of it. And I'm like, this game has brought us all together. This game has brought families together. It's helped people, and it's a really fucking wonderful thing, you know. And getting to go to a place like Tombstone and just seeing the community and being part of it was really kind of wonderful. But you know, it means a lot for me anyway.
Right.
You know,
Yeah. No. That us too. You know, just from our perspective coming in, and you know, my dad was, you know, he was born in the 50s, so he was in the big Wild West boom. So I grew up on a lot of Western stuff, and you know, all that, and the backdrop is awesome. And like Candace said, that's a perfect. You know, you're hanging out in the saloon just like the game, you know, with everybody, but really, you know, the game itself brings a lot of people together, but you guys being so inviting, because that's one thing, you know, we felt like instant family as soon as you guys came in.
Yeah,
you know,
you guys walked in, you're like, hey, I was like,
I just want to get a drink with you guys.
I that's what when's it beer 30, man? Let's get this signing over with so we can go to drink. But you know, that we had been talking to a couple people, like I'd reached out to Kylie and me and a few others beforehand, just to, you know, set up stuff like this and tell them about the article and all that. And everybody was super cool online, but then hanging out with you guys, we felt like insta friends, you know what I mean? And Candace and I are kind of like that. We're very gregarious, and you can probably tell I'm not, you know, we're not shy. We love hanging out with people, especially in a fun atmosphere like that. But it was to us, it was very special. You know, we felt like we had been through a couple gunfights by about, you know, 2:00 with the heat, and just, you know, we're all a sweaty mess, and we're in it together. But
I loved it. Didn't you just?
The
whole 2 days were just.
Oh, I could have done it for another 48 hours straight.
Yeah.
No problem.
Yeah.
People coming through, talking about stuff that they loved. It was it was. I mean, I loved it. I don't think I sat down for 2 days. I think
I barely did.
I did a couple times, and that was about it. But yeah, that it just the energy. That's what, you know, because people were coming in and checking on us. Like I'm sure they did with Candace too if they had time. But once they got to Kurzen's table, they were asking me like, "Are you okay? Like, how are you guys doing?" I'm like, "Dude, I'm so hyped right now. Yeah. I can't feel my body. I probably had 3 heart attacks so far. I wouldn't even know it because I'm so geeked." Yeah.
That's what I felt the entire
Yeah.
day, the 2 days there. It just felt bloody beautiful.
Yeah. It
It was
was.
very
It was an
positive
honor.
energy.
It
Yeah.
was just lovely. I mean, the people in Tombstone couldn't do enough for us, but also just the people who came.
They're
Mhm.
no, they're all rock stars for braving that heat. You know, a couple of them. I heard a couple people did pass out. They woke back up and got right back in their spot. And
Like
I mean,
St. Patrick's Day for cowboys, man.
right, right, yeah. Like,
do
hey,
you go? Do you go?
right, yeah. Flash KO, I'm back. I'm cool. Yeah. No, but you know, to us it was because like I've said, we've been to a lot of cons and events, but
Mhm.
this was special, you know, and I feel like, you know, we've talked to all the actors and, you know, we're still talking with you guys, obviously, you know, we're still DMing and texting and everything. And I texted Rob a little bit, and the buzz is still you know, just when I think it's done, I think Alex posted a picture on her story,
Yeah,
Instagram
got
story,
it all
of
going
you guys
again.
at the carriage, and I'm like, yeah, I'm cool, I'm over, you know, it was great, and you know, I'm back to reality. And then I see that picture, I'm like, you know, right back, all the memories flood back. You're just like, man, I want to go back. It was so
For me anyway. I will say it was too quick.
it was
I
it
have no
was
criticisms about the whole weekend. It was
Yeah.
really brilliant. But next time, I need to get there a day before.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Really enjoy the place.
Yep.
Mhm.
Yep.
And also have an opportunity to kind of meet more fans as well, just by
Yeah.
bouncing around. And hanging
Right.
out, you know?
Right.
Honestly, like when you guys go like wander about, I feel like that's kind of a cool part of the event too. Cause like when you all went out to the carriage, everybody was kind of around, like obviously giving you guys space, but it's like, it's kind of nice to like be able to walk the line and just be like, hey, you know, what's going on?
Right.
So
Right.
We're not all crazy people dressed up in weird suits with dots on us.
Right. Right.
Human
Right.
beings as well, you know.
yeah.
There was one gentleman who was running the stage coaches,
Mhm.
Yeah.
and I grabbed a coffee on Sunday morning. And I walked over and I was just chatting. He was at his stall, and we were chatting, and he didn't know that I was
Right.
part of this thing, and I didn't know what he was doing. We were just
Right.
talking. And I'm like,
Yeah.
yeah, how you doing? He goes, oh, you're right, I'm from New York, blah blah. Are you here for this event? I said, yeah. He says, yeah. He says, man, he says, I'm here all day yesterday. I'm here all day today. He says, I love this game so much. I can't, I'm working. I can't get away. I can't go and meet the actors. I said, man, fuck this.
Yeah.
So I went off and I got a little picture of Sean and
Right.
thing for him.
Yeah.
I brought it back to him. I was like, here you go.
That's awesome, man.
You know, he probably still only going, who the fuck is this guy? But, you know,
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly. Okay. Cool.
but those are the little things that you enjoy doing. You have
Absolutely,
fun with,
man.
especially on occasions like this, you know.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And that's a big testament to you guys. Every one of you guys is awesome. So giving. Like I said, you know, a lot of we know a lot of probably actors would be like, you know, it's too hot and I've already been here 3 hours past when I was supposed to. I'm done. Everybody was ready to go through the night. I mean, everybody was.
It was after 11.
Yeah,
It was-
I love it.
Yeah.
I love it. I love meeting the fans of the game. The fans
Absolutely.
of this game are the most important people in the world, and yeah, it was.
And there's not a lot of
that first night coming back afterwards and
Right.
sticking around a couple of hours was like, I want to meet you. I want to meet you all.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
talk to y'all. Like, of course.
Right.
You know.
Exactly.
Right. And the community is one of the most respectful, cool
Really
communities
is.
ever. Because there are a lot of communities that it could have been a lot more chaos, you know, with that many people and having to stay in lines in the heat. And when you guys walk outside, you don't have to worry about people, you know, mobbing you or being. Everyone was just cool. They want to hang out with you just as much as you do with them.
Yeah.
You know, if you see them, you know, you could, if you do a little pub crawl next time, everyone you know will have fun, and there won't be any problems because the whole fan base is just so cool.
You know, my wife actually, we were driving out somewhere a few weeks back after we came back from Tombstone, and she said it to me like, we go to a lot of sporting events where we get into soccer and sporting events and everything else. And she said, you know, if you went to a soccer match and it was 100 degrees and people had to wait for half an hour to get into the stadium, to be a fucking riot.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
Oh,
Yep.
absolutely.
These people were waiting around for hours, and when they eventually got in, were full of love and joy and respect.
Oh yeah.
It's a testament. Like, our community is so good, it's so positive, it's so loving, and that's one of the reasons why, you know, I wanted personally, I'd always, anybody who's ever a fan, I'm like, yeah, let's have a chat, let's talk about it, let's have fun, take a picture, have a laugh. I
Right.
fucking say anything, John's voice for you, no problem. You know.
Right. No, it's
The fans
pure.
love it.
Yeah, it's pure fun. You know, you kind of are there to work, but it's not work. You're just.
Ah,
It's so much fun, man.
it's a
It's
privilege.
just.
I
Yeah.
worked with an actor a few years ago. We did a play together, and a very famous Hollywood actor
Mhm.
who had a very famous movie in the 80s.
Mhm.
That's one of the most famous movies of all time, to the point where people still buy memorabilia
Mhm.
and sell it within half an hour.
Right,
It was
right.
about a guy whose name was Bueller and his day was off.
Hey, there you go.
Mhm.
There
We
you go.
did this
Yeah.
movie together.
Yeah.
We did this play together, and we had a chat about this very subject. And he mentioned how the fans of the film that gave him his greatest kind of gift
Mhm.
are the reason why he has the life he has.
Right.
And
Yeah.
he's like, never forget that. Like,
Right.
these folks who love your work, like,
Mhm.
that's what this is all about.
Yep.
And yeah, that's been a bit of a lesson, I guess, that I've taken with me, I suppose. But
Mhm.
Right.
I'm nowhere near as famous as him.
Right.
But
But
I certainly, any fans of Red Dead, any outlaws out there,
Mhm.
please, if you ever recognize me, come up and have a chat.
Yep.
I'm always open to having a bit of a laugh.
awesome. I mean, to be honest with you, there were a couple times I just went over to hang out with you just to get hyped back up. You know, if I was feeling like, you know, I'm pretty bad. Like, all right, I'm gonna go see Mick. Like, hey, you know, you'd be like, hey, how you doing? You know, I'm like, I'm good now, man. We're cool. You know.
No, I appreciate it. Every time I
Like,
walk by you, you're like, "Hey, how are you
Yep.
doing?" I was just like,
Sorry.
"Thank God somebody's like worried about me because I'm trying to just."
I was just trying to sell more fucking autographs.
Well, hey, you know, I have like 8 of the same Sean print, so thanks a lot for that.
Everyone's
but,
over here buying shit from Gabrielle and fucking Ben and Steven and
Right.
Rob and Joe and everyone.
Yeah.
So, like,
You're like,
you want to buy something from me?
yeah.
Well, it's funny too because I think a couple, like, I know Jim kind of was just happy to be there. He didn't think a lot of people would go see him, but people are going to go see him.
Busy.
Curzon
Yeah.
Curzon actually said to me, it was funny, and I'm going to try to not do the I have been
He's
wanting
got
to do
his voice down.
I've
so
been wanting to do
well.
voice acting for a while, and I'm thinking about getting into it over the next year. But like when she plays the game, I instantly try to do the voices. But being around Curzon for 48 hours, and hopefully he does. If he sees this, hopefully.
Arthur,
But
Arthur,
no, yeah, he we introduced each other, ourselves and chatted a little bit. And then it was I let him do his Instagram live or the Streamly thing.
Streamly, yeah.
Let him, get settled. We sat down. Obviously Candace is in the hot seat with Rob. Right through the door. There's John Marston.
Number one, baby.
Yeah, she
I
was
like,
amazing.
all right, bring it on. Let's go.
Not a lot of people could have did what she did. But
hey man, put aces in their places.
Yeah,
I can handle it.
Yeah.
I can
she's
handle
humble too. Yeah, she's humble too. Curzon, he kind of leans over to me, and goes, "Well, Aaron, Rob's the hot item here. We're probably just going to be sitting here, just watching time go by." And I told him, I said, Curzon, I don't think you realize, number one, people how much they love Hosea, and number two, I'm not letting anybody get by without at least coming to say hi. So I'll be your sales guy. But he just it was so funny. He just kind of, I think, underestimated. I mean, we weren't as busy as them, but man, he was. People were coming over and saying, I had to see Rob, but I wanted to see you. Hosea is my favorite character in the game. So you never know. Everybody thinks that, Dutch or John or Arthur. There are some of these other characters that are so cool that they're people's favorite character. You never know. I mean,
that's the beauty of this game as well, is like we are a family, and I think the fans of the game and people who look at the game and play it, they recognize something in the different characters, and
absolutely.
And Rockstar did a great job in terms of creating these characters and the writing and everything else. But yeah, I remember I two little stories is one, Curzon comes to every play I do in New York.
Oh, that's awesome, man.
Curzon is in the audience. I actually have a book on next to my bed that Curzon gave me recently as a gift after a sale I did. Curzon is a gentleman. I love him dearly.
He's awesome.
He's wonderful.
And Rob is also a gentleman who I love dearly. Rob, I don't smoke. Rob does like to smoke cigarettes.
We have a funny story about that, but maybe we'll save that one for later. But yeah, no,
well, I'm not going to get into that now.
Right.
But during when we were working on the game, there was like a little area out the back of the studio
Mhm.
where Rob would always go for a cigarette, and whenever Rob would go for a cigarette and we were working together, I'd go with him just to have a chat and have a talk,
Right.
hang out.
Yep.
And I didn't know, I didn't, I didn't know Red Dead Redemption 1 for ages. I think
Right.
I've been working on RDR2 for about a year and a half maybe.
Mhm.
And then one day I went home and I said, "Oh, I'll play Red Dead Redemption 1." And I realized, oh fuck,
Oh,
this guy who I'm having
he's
cigarettes
the
with is
guy.
the
Yeah.
guy.
Right.
Like,
Right.
oh, and then that's when it dawned on me, oh shit, this might be a big deal.
Right.
Mhm.
Okay.
Oh yeah, because Red Dead 1 was a huge deal, and John Marston was like the guy. So when
Yeah.
Arthur came along, it was like, who's this new guy? Like I was like, I hope I like him as much as John, but I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah, no, I didn't. I mean, none of us really did. I mean, Rockstar are great about their marketing and their PR,
Mhm.
but I can remember, like, I remember walking around downtown here in New York and Canal Street and seeing billboards up in the game in Times Square, seeing fucking Arthur Morgan.
How cool was that though? You're like,
Yeah, that had to
I
be
worked
a
on that.
big deal.
There was one day where I walked into a subway station down on Canal Street, and the walls were just covered in Red Dead Redemption 2. You had Dutch, you had Micah, you had Sadie. I'm like, where the fuck is Sean? I'm like,
Right.
guys, what's the story?
Where is he?
Right.
What the
Yeah.
fuck?
Right.
Like, you put all these ugly faces up, but you're not going to.
You're like, what about
Right.
Sean?
Right.
Yeah.
The one guy who gets laid in the game, like.
Exactly.
Right.
Anyway, but yeah, it was. The other mad thing was unfortunately, my grandmother passed away
Oh.
the week the game was released.
Oh no.
So I ended up having to go home to Ireland that week
Yeah.
when the game came out, and it was strange. Like,
Yeah.
it was
That
a
is.
wonderful time for the game
Mhm.
coming out. Obviously, it was a horrible time for me with my grandmother.
Right.
But I remember walking around Dublin and seeing Arthur fucking Morgan on the side of a Dublin bus going by,
Right.
and
Yeah.
listening to Irish people going, "Oh Jesus, this new game, Red Dead Redemption 2, is going to be good." I'm like, oh my God, yeah.
Yeah. I'm in there.
My brother came home with me because obviously my grandmother passed, so my brother came home, and we went into a GameStop in Ireland.
Mhm.
Mhm.
Game or GameStop. It's not
Yeah.
GameStop over here, it's Game, it's called.
Yeah.
And he was getting his Xbox converted to European style one so he could use it.
Mhm.
Mhm.
And he turned to the guy on the counter and he's like, "Oh, this is Sean McGuire." And I was like, "What?" He goes, "The guy with the shit Irish accent." I'm like,
You're
Yeah.
like,
Oh
really?
man, come on, man.
and,
Yeah.
You're like, but I
and then
have
at Dublin Comic Con last year, that guy showed up and got me to sign, "I'm the guy with the
Nice.
shit Irish accent."
Nice. Nice.
Put it up. So there's
Love it.
there's a video game store in Ireland somewhere in County Cork with my signature saying, "I'm the guy with the shit Irish accent."
Oh, that's awesome.
I love
Well, I
that.
think you're getting there. Your Irish is getting a lot better. So
Nearly there.
you're almost there, man. You're almost there. Yeah.
I'll be on the face of a box of Lucky Charms.
There you go, man. There you go. There you
You need a
go.
few more
Irish
years.
Spring. Irish Spring stuff.
There you go.
I auditioned for Irish Spring a couple of years ago,
Yeah.
and they were like, "No, it's not what we're looking for."
You're like, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, fair enough.
Man.
You tried though. Hey,
Right.
that's what matters.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
one day, when we see you in an Irish Spring commercial, you've truly made it. That's when you know
Gotten
Mhm.
there.
everything paid off. Everything paid
Yeah.
off.
Yeah, but no, Tombstone was absolutely amazing. I'm just glad that everybody who went out had a good time. You know, everybody you all saw, the fans stayed super, super late. It was like after 11, it was like 11:30, I think, by the time
Yeah, Sunday
everybody
was
like,
I think
leaving.
11. Yeah, wasn't it?
Yeah.
It was
Yeah.
crazy.
Yeah. Yeah.
I remember getting on the bus and people were like, "Nick, get on the fucking bus." I'm like,
Yeah.
"No."
No, they were like, we're leaving now.
Yeah.
So-
Yeah. Oh, I had to tell Curzon to eat. I don't remember if it was Saturday night. I think it was Saturday, like around 5, like right before the panel. I had to force him. Jeff came by and was like, he needs to go eat. And I'm like, yeah, he does. So I kind of had to nicely, but firmly tell him, like, you got to go eat something, dude, because it's been like 8 hours already and you haven't eaten anything. So
It's mad.
Yeah,
It's
man,
mad.
machine.
But again, look, when you're meeting
Yeah.
fans, the greatest fans in the world, I'm not just saying that, but best fucking fans in the world.
Yeah.
We had people bringing us bits of art. And there was one young lady brought me a painting of Sean that she made out of dissolved pistols. And I'm
Oh,
like,
wow.
Wow.
Like,
That's very cool.
Yeah,
like,
that's
we
crazy.
Created this, I made it online. Like,
Mhm.
yeah, I mean, we
Right.
want to meet them all. I want to meet every single fan.
Yeah.
Really,
No,
really, you know?
that's we can't wait till next year. We
Yeah.
don't know where it is yet. We're kind of waiting to
Wait-
figure out the particulars, but I
Waiting
cannot
on the
wait.
information drop, but hey,
Yep.
just keep an eye on the
Well,
socials.
If I find out any information, I'll let you know for sure.
Okay. Yep.
I don't know.
Right. We're still in touch too. She's reached out. You
I'm
know,
waiting,
we're still in
so
contact
just
with
like-
Ken, so we'll figure it out. But either way, it's gonna be
Michigan,
awesome.
that'll be fucking great.
Oh, it'd be wonderful
Yeah.
if it was in Michigan. I
Yeah.
mean, we've got a lot
Well,
of
if it's in
historic
New
towns.
York, I'm like, come to New York. Let's do it. The Wild West. New
Hey,
York. Okay,
That's
yeah.
I mean, there's like Candace said, there are so many old towns. Like actually, Tombstone. I was saying, one of the
Mhm.
towns kind of in northern Michigan, or a couple of them actually, kind of remind me of Tombstone a little bit. You know, it's a little
Mhm.
more
It's because of
obviously
the architecture.
mountainous, but the architecture and just kind of some of that, you know, very very nature,
Town vibe.
not a lot of built up stuff. It's kind of similar, and there's a lot of history here of at the same time all that was the 1880s, 90s,
Mhm.
early 1900s. Same stuff was kind of going on here, just it might be lumber instead of gold rush or whatever.
Or
Yeah.
silver, yeah.
It's a lot of the same stories. And
No, I'd love it. I mean, it was a great event. It was,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
in fairness
Yeah.
to Kenny and Jeff and all of them all putting it all together, it was really
phenomenal.
fucking brilliant.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can't wait. I would love to do it again.
yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Give us an extra day to meet everyone. To just,
Honestly, you
Absolutely.
need that extra day
Yeah,
because we originally were gonna come in on Friday night, like everybody, like Friday night, and then have Saturday, Sunday. But when we arrived Thursday night, we didn't have a whole lot of time because the town closed up pretty, early. It was like 8 o'clock, and I'm like, ooh, they're not serving dinner anywhere anymore. So good thing we got there a little bit ahead of time.
really,
But
it closes. The town closes.
Yeah,
early.
it shut down
it
pretty
was
early.
shut down
Yeah.
pretty much
Oh,
like
wow.
8 o'clock. All the restaurants stopped serving dinner. Like I want to say 6 or 6:30, the shops closed. They did stay open a little bit later, I think, because of the event and because so many people were still out in the streets. But like you could stay until about like 10 to midnight, depending on the bar for drinks. But it closed up shop pretty early. I was kind of surprised, and for the event, I think they did stay open a little bit later though. But
Yeah.
I mean, people were there, people were spending money, everybody wanted to hang out, and where else are you going to hang out?
But at the end of the day, that's the main thing as well. Is I
Mhm.
think the beauty of an event like this is, a lot of Comic Cons and a lot of events bring conventions to big cities and big towns. The
Mhm.
fact that you're bringing this to an area that doesn't probably get as much,
Exactly.
a smaller kind of an area and all, it's just great. It's got to be
No,
good
it's-
for the local community, put some
Yep.
money in the coffers,
Exactly.
local economy. It's brilliant. I became very good friends with one gentleman and his daughter who run a coffee shop there, Undertakers.
Yeah.
Undertaker's
Every morning,
awesome.
that was what got me. The
Yeah.
shout out to Undertakers and the
Undertakers.
iced Morgan Earp is one of the best coffee drinks I've ever had. I had one Saturday, I think Friday morning, Saturday morning, and Sunday morning. It was
Mhm.
awesome.
Yeah.
But yeah.
And you've all these local businesses as well that are going to benefit. And that's what
Yeah.
this is about at the end of the day,
Mhm.
hmm
It
Yep.
is.
And again, promoting the community. The community is so positive and creative
Mhm.
and wonderful. And the one thing I love is they're all supported by their families. Like
Yep.
fans who came through the door, whose parents were on the other side, whose
Yeah.
brothers and sisters came with them, whose friends and
Yeah.
significant others and everything else.
Right.
The big groups that were coming in, I was like, okay,
Somebody-
who's all together? I was like, all
Somebody
right,
got
do you
married,
all
I
want it?
think. Yeah, I
No,
think some.
they got
somebody
engaged.
Yeah, engaged. I mean, yeah, somebody got
Yeah.
engaged. Yeah.
They got engaged
Yeah.
at Tombstone
That's
Redemption.
awesome, man. Hey.
There you go. It's a wonderful thing.
Never know. No, I talked to quite a few dads who were, they were, kids made me come, and I brought them. I'm like, yeah, but you're having fun too. He's like, yeah, this is pretty awesome. So I'm like, hey,
If you're a dad and you're in Tombstone watching fucking
right, that's
Oh
pretty
my
good.
Gunfights, yeah.
Yeah.
there's worse things.
Right, you're right.
Exactly.
I can't wait to see the Barbie movie, but I'm just thinking about all the dads out there. I'm like,
Yeah. Right,
Yeah.
right,
That dad. I'm like, okay.
right.
I can't
Yeah.
wait for Barbie.
Right, there you go.
I was gonna say we
No
haven't
hate
seen
on
it yet
Barbie.
either.
No,
Yeah.
but cowboys or
No.
Barbie. I mean, it's
Cowboy
usually
shit for dads and moms and stuff.
Right.
Might
Right.
work like that,
right. Yeah. Ken in a pink cowboy suit, kind of cool, but not as cool as
Hey,
I.
You can
listen,
pull it
I'm
off.
everywhere.
You never know.
I've got my pink neon sign behind
Right?
me.
No,
I
I love
love
that. I
it.
noticed that. That's amazing.
Yeah.
Man. Love it.
The underwear dreams are made of, man.
Yep. I
I
love it.
love it. I love it.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we're gonna probably wrap it up and kind of let you get on your way. But beforehand,
I hope I answered your question.
You did.
did.
This is
Well,
great.
Rattled off.
no,
like,
no,
No,
no.
it's
This was all.
good.
It
This
was
is what we
great.
want.
Right, but we have the really hard hitting question. We saved the
do.
really divisive stuff for the end.
for the last. for
This
the
is
end.
this is the big. This is the kind of the James Lipton personality test here. So we'll. Yep. Drink up. Get ready. The first one is probably one of the most divisive. We tell everybody a couple friendships have been ruined over this. So, if you had the choice in your house, we're talking like living spaces, bedrooms, whatever. What do you prefer, hardwood or carpet?
Hardwood.
All right.
I'm both, so I'm
I need to start taking that stance because we've had a lot of hardwood
Yeah.
lately, and
Yeah.
yeah.
I was gonna say hardwood.
Okay, there you go.
Yeah,
There,
see?
all right.
There you go.
All right. Okay.
Rugs, and hardwood.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. I'm a carpet guy. I like to just lay down on the floor and pass out.
Carpet's
So.
okay, but
Yeah,
I grew up in the 80s. So.
Yep,
Yeah,
I know.
Yeah.
I did too. My whole entire basement is wood paneling, but I had to put carpet in the theater
I
area.
feel
so.
hardwood, like you can put down rugs. You can put down
Right,
nice rugs.
right.
and
You
can.
You can.
You have a choice.
And it's easier to clean.
It
And
is.
not for nothing. Carpet, you get fucking shit, man. And it's never gonna leave. You know. Plus,
know.
it's plugged into the walls and stuff, so you need to.
Right.
Yeah.
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 Whereas with
I
hardwood,
get it.
boom, there you go. So anyway,
Boom.
hardwood.
All
There you
right.
go.
All right.
Taken care of.
All right. I
Question.
yeah. So the next one is another pretty big deal one. What do you think is the best kind of pasta shape?
The best kind of pasta shape. I'm a big fan of the pre-stranglers. Is that linguine? Or
Oh
is
yeah,
it
yeah, yeah. Yep.
Yeah,
Okay. Yeah.
yeah.
Yep.
kind
Yep.
of like
Yep.
half an inch?
Yep.
Yes.
I love those with a nice
Right.
ragu. I like
Oh.
those with I actually cook what I figured out the perfect hang on a second. It's the old Roman pasta with cheese, cacio e pepe.
Oh yeah, yeah. Yep. Yep.
Yep.
So I mean, I love all pasta,
Yep.
but with the thick kind of pre-stranglers,
Yep.
Yep.
cacio e pepe, you boil it in the water with a bit of chicken stock,
Ooh.
boil that.
Ooh.
Then you get your butter, Irish butter, Kerrygold Irish butter, the gold label one,
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
to a pan, like about a teaspoon of it, a shit ton of fucking black pepper, a little bit of red pepper, and a little bit of garlic, slice up some garlic, just get it nice and sauteed. Let the pasta, you don't want to cook it all the way through, but make it just pre-al dente.
Right. Yep.
Yep.
Stuff.
Right.
Yep.
And then you just add the pasta to the butter and the garlic and the pepper sauce. You mix it, add a bit more pepper, and then you add your pecorino romano cheese, and then you add the water from the pasta you just cooked.
Oh wow.
And
That-
thickens it up and just fry it around, and it is the fucking bomb. It's the best. It's the best.
I'm gonna write down the recipe.
I was gonna
I'm
say,
totally gonna try
yeah.
it.
Message me the
That sounds
recipe.
amazing.
That's what we're having for dinner tonight. So
Yeah.
we'll go hit.
I
that
love
sounds
it. It's one of my little. It's a 15-minute. It's like literally
yeah.
boil the water, pasta, boom, butter, pepper, couple of
Mm.
spices, boom, mix it all up, and it's
That sounds
dinner for the day.
phenomenal.
Awesome.
Yeah.
I'm
All
here
right.
for it.
Third one. This is a music question, and this isn't. What do you think is the greatest album ever? What is your desert island album? If you were stranded on a desert island, what album would you want to take with you?
All Mod Cons by the Jam.
Okay, that's a good one.
All Mod
That's it.
Cons by the Jam. I love the Jam. I've seen Paul Weller every time he comes to New York.
Nice,
Fucking love
nice.
that one. So
Nice.
I love
I'm,
it.
I'm old.
Hey, listen, you're only a couple years older than me. I hate to break it to you, buddy.
Yeah.
So
Well, hate to break it to you.
yeah, no, I already know. I've been told. Trust me, I know. I already know. You know, between the hip pain when it gets cold, and
Oh.
you know, nobody. Anytime I say any, actor or musician, kids are like, "Huh, who?" I'm like,
Yeah.
never mind.
All Mod
Yeah.
Cons by the Jam. I love the Jam. They were
Yep.
the greatest post-punk
Right.
band
Yep.
of all time.
That's awesome. All right, buddy. Well, I think that's pretty much all we had. We'll do your
I
socials
love
and
you
everything.
guys. You guys are amazing.
No, hey, thank you. You guys were awesome too. You're awesome. We love chatting with you, and we'll keep chatting. We'll keep in touch.
Good.
We'll try to get out there. if you have any kind of schedule of anything going on, either you're doing or shows.
Yeah, do you have a shout out that you want to do?
Yeah,
Any
do you have
shows
any-
that you're currently working on or in?
Right now, well, just so people know, I'm the artistic director of Origin Theatre Company. That's
Mhm.
origintheatre.org.
Mhm.
We host the annual First Irish Theatre Festival, which goes on every year. It's currently going to its 16th year.
Nice.
And yeah, we're having our gala coming up in October. So
Ooh,
check out www.origintheatre.org.
okay. See, I'm thinking a fall trip, like a little weekend in New York, might be on the
Up to
horizon.
New York,
So
we'll have
Autumn in New
fun.
York.
we'll.
By the way, you do know New York is fucking easy.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh
Oh,
yeah.
yeah.
Come to New York, pretty cheap, and
Oh,
figure
yeah.
out a hotel.
I was
You
gonna
can
say,
have a great time here. It's an
Oh,
easy
yeah.
place to come to. It's not
Yeah,
like
we
going to fucking
drove. I mean,
Tombstone,
from here, it's
Arizona, like Tombstone, Arizona. was
right.
like,
Yeah, that was a
that's
big
in the
deal.
middle of like,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
that was a big deal.
Yeah.
That was
I think-
come to
adventure.
New York and have a great fucking
Oh,
day
yeah.
or two and just hang out. And
Oh yeah, for
Exactly.
sure.
fun, you know?
I think the flight's like maybe an hour and a half from
It's
here.
not
so
bad.
right out of
No.
Detroit. Yeah, straight out of
Mhm.
Detroit to New York.
Yeah.
No problem. So
And New York's easy to get around. So.
it is. Yeah, it
Yeah.
is.
Oh,
relatively-
we're the nicest people in the world.
Mhm.
Yeah. There you go.
We're
guys
just
are.
busy. We're
I was gonna
Right.
say you're busy,
Right.
and it's nice because if you need to talk to somebody, they're like, "Yeah, what? Like,
They're like,
what's the
I'm
deal?"
busy. This is where you go.
Yup.
I'm busy. Have a great day.
Yeah.
That's it. We're just busy.
Yeah,
We're not
man.
It's
rude,
wonderful.
we're busy.
Right. Hey, we're kind of the same way. We like to, if there's business to be taken care of, we want to take care of business, and then we can goof around later. So, yeah,
Yeah.
awesome, cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, we'll put up all your socials and a link to that website, and we'll keep
I
in touch,
appreciate
buddy.
it. I really appreciate it.
Hey.
If I have
Thank you
any
so
shows
much.
coming up, I'll let you know. But listen, let's do it. Let's get together again.
Yeah.
Hopefully,
Yeah,
For
Tombstone
sure.
thing happens again in the future, and we'll do more events like this. And
definitely,
you
man.
guys, and I mean this from the bottom of my heart. Thank you for this. Thank you for putting out the podcasts and the blogs and everything. It's creative and it's wonderful.
Man,
Thank you.
we appreciate it.
We appreciate it. We
Yep.
appreciate you. Thank you so
Yep.
much for doing this.
Yep. All righty.